I guess the reason I took the path that I took is that ever since I was a little kid, I've always really been into Jesus, and I've always really wanted to make people laugh. Hey, I'm Rev James. I'm an Orthodox Christian priest and a stand-up comic. I'm also the host of the God Wants You to Laugh podcast. And the reason I'm creating this video is I get the sense that a lot of people don't know who I am or what I'm about. When people hear the word priest, that comes with a lot of preconceived notions. And also when somebody hears comedian, there's a lot that comes with that too. And a lot of times people don't even know what to do with the two of them thrown together. I kind of want to explain who I am because I think I feel like there's some misconceptions. Like people don't really know who I am. They don't know that I'm liberal. They don't know that I'm open-minded. Want me to talk about comedy now?
Yeah, tell me about why you pursued comedy.
Again, it's always been something there ever since like I was a little kid. I've always loved making people laugh. When I was a little kid, I would watch stand-up comedy and I just loved it. So yeah, these two constant loves in my life, Jesus and comedy, have always been there. And although I've been into Jesus for a pretty long time, I've never felt like I belong, and I've never felt comfortable in church. I've always felt like an outsider. I remember very distinctly being in divinity school, feeling like I didn't belong, and just feeling pretty lonely. And I just knew that the way church kind of is right now doesn't really work for me. I don't feel like I can bring my whole self to most churches. I want people to know that, like, I love you. And this is what I mean by that. I believe my job is to accept who you are unconditionally. And I know that's a shocker coming from a priest or from a Christian, but I really feel that's really central to Jesus's message. So whenever I meet somebody, like, for example, I do stand-up comedy, and a lot of comics swear a lot, or at least if they don't swear on stage, they will swear off stage. And they always like blush and look embarrassed when they're swearing around me. And I've always found this kind of frustrating because like they think because I'm a priest, I'm gonna like judge them or they shouldn't do that. And like, I don't care if somebody drops an F-bomb or says the SH word. I mean, I personally don't swear, but it's not because I'm like holier than thou or pure. It's just, I'm a snob who went to Yale. I think I'd rather say that Republicans are egregious or Donald Trump is egregious instead of, dropping F-bombs about him, or them. I have all these big snooty Ivy League words I can use. I'd rather not swear, but it's okay for you to swear, and it's okay for you to be whoever you are, even not a Christian, an atheist. I mean, be yourself, be real, and I will take you for who you are.
Tell me about Bill Hicks.
Oh, that dude's my hero. Like I just remember being this angst-ridden teen and seeing this documentary about him and just absolutely resonating with him. Because not only was he this very rebellious, cutting-edge stand-up comedian, he also had a lot of very spiritual aspects in his act. I mean, he has some parts in his act where he says some pretty spiritual, out there things, which I think most normal people kind of have difficulty putting their mind around. But if you've like meditated a lot, done anything sort of woo-woo, or have any sort of bent towards the mystical side of life, that totally resonates with you. Like says things like, we're all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. And that's a pretty deep and far out there concept. And to have that thrown in a comedy act where, he's also talking about sex and drinking and smoking and all those other topics, and the Kennedy assassinations, things like that. It was really resonated with me, and I really loved how he closed one of his comedy specials, where he pretty much says, our job here on this planet is to care and educate one another. A lot of people treat life like life is all about getting as much money and power for me as possible. And I think at the end of the day, that kind of life will never really satisfy you or make you happy. I'm going to get a little deep here. I do hospice chaplaincy, and I've seen a lot of people pass on. And the people who pass on with these angelic, peaceful smiles on their face, who really, it's beautiful to behold. But those people with those smooth, beautiful passings, the one commonality I've always found in every single one of them is that they're generous. And I really think that's one of the key roots to spirituality, and also to Bill Hicks' message. And the message of all spiritual teachers, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha. There's this real value in being generous and sharing what you have with others. And there's this great sense of peace that comes with it.
Okay, so tell me a funny story about being a hospice chaplain.
A funny story. Well, the funniest patient I ever had, I've had a lot of funny patients, but the first one that comes to mind is Dottie. That's not her real name. But she was this old Catholic woman with early stage dementia who had this massive crush on me. And I would visit her, and she would try to convince me. I would be praying with her, and then she would ask me to kiss her, which I always found very endearing. She would make very crude comments to me because she loved to see me blush. She once called an elderly 85-year-old man in a wheelchair a sex machine right in front of me, which had me hysterically laughing. She once told me after I finished a prayer with her, she'd been married twice, that I'd make a great third husband. She just, I mean, even with somebody who had early stage dementia, she really had an amazing sense of humor, and her wits with her. And I was really sad when she passed on. I mean, she was just such a funny lady.
What about that time that your boss was there?
Oh yeah, I was having a supervised visit where my boss was watching me have a visit with Dottie. It was like my annual evaluation, and in the middle of the visit, or at the end of the visit, I asked her if she wanted anything else from me, and she was like, oh, "Could you kiss me?" And I'm like, and there's a big no-no in hospice, like you don't kiss your patients. And so she asked me to kiss her, and I'm like, "No, Dottie, I can't." And she spends the next 5 minutes trying to convince me to kiss her. So I finally get out of the visit without having kissed her. And my boss said, "Oh, that was an amazing visit. You're really making a difference for her. Good job." I have one criticism. And my boss was like, "Why didn't you kiss her?" So that's Dottie for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.